The most basic exercises, just a squat on the floor, a body weight squat on the floor. It's very basic, but that doesn't mean that it's easy, and it's often done wrong. Just a few subtle things you'll get a lot more out of the exercise. We're going to start with Kim as the model. She's going to stand with her feet about shoulder width apart. Going to turn her feet slightly out, just very slightly. All the weight's going to be on her heels. I'm going to start with body weight, so I'm going to have her hands out in front, all the way shifted back, chest up, and lower back just a little bit extended, like this. She's going to come down into the squat nice and slow. Ideally, you want to get parallel to the ground where your upper leg is perfectly parallel. On the way back up, she's going to drive through those heels, just shy of locking the knee and just shy of locking the hip, so she's not standing all the way up. She's going to come back down nice and slow, drive up a little bit quicker, just shy of lockout, and you're always going to be breathing out on the way up against resistance. So that's the squat on the floor. A couple of things to look for when you first start doing this. If you've got tight calves, and people often do, when you come down, you'll see the squatter coming up on their toes. Show them that very quickly. That's a sign you've got tight calves. If you're a runner, that often happens. A good thing to do before you start a squat is to stretch the calves. It'll often allow you to come back to the heels and stay on the heels when you're squatting. Also, you want to be careful for the knees caving in or bowing out on the way down. Again, signs of some muscle imbalances, tight inner or outer thighs. Stretching the inner and outer thighs before the squat will often fix that. We're going to take the squat from the floor now to the bosu. And what's going to happen is you'll see a change of emphasis from just driving through the prime movers, the big muscles of the hip and the quad, to an emphasis on the subtle muscles of the ankles, knees, and hips. So Kim's going to come down nice and slow. Again, parallel to the ground, driving up just shy of lockout on the way up, breathing out. This is a perfectly executed squat on the bosu, which again is putting more emphasis now on all the muscles of the core and the stabilizing muscles of the joints of the knee, ankle, and hip. What you want to look for in this one, when you first start out on a bosu, you oftentimes, almost always, see a little bit of a shake of the knees on the way down, like this. What that's saying to you is you probably have big, strong prime movers, again, quads, hips, hamstrings, but the muscles that surround the joints aren't quite as strong, and that will be very obvious when you start to see this on the way down. We're going to add a little weight to Kim now. If you're squatting with dumbbells on the bosu or the ground, it's easier to use those dumbbells as counterbalance implements by bringing them forward just enough to counterbalance your weight going back on the heels. It's not a shoulder exercise, so you don't have to bring them all the way up, just enough to counterbalance. Again, going down the parallel, driving up to shy of lockout, breathing out every single time you come up. She's doing a good job of keeping the knees in line with the feet the whole time she performs the squat. You can tell her stabilizer muscles of the knee, ankle, and hip are working well. There's not a lot of shake there. I'll take the 10s. We're going to go into Kim's working weight, the 30s. Right. It's going to perform the same exercise here. It's going to become definitely more difficult to keep everything in line. Good. And you go down to parallel every single time. Good. She's breathing out the way up, of course. Let's get one more rep. Keep the same angle of the upper body as you squat down. I'll take these. And that is the dumbbell squat.